Welcome back, guys, to Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations, where Miles Edgeworth easily swats aside the testimony, coming up with tons of reasons why, for example, the Shichishito couldn't be the murder weapon. However, moving on to a new testimony, we've got ourselves a new piece of evidence, and I think we're presenting the statement. Maybe they threw the weapon into Eagle River and came back while I was knocked out. Following along from the fact that Iris can drive a snowmobile, and a snowmobile was driven that night. But there seems to be only one set of tracks, even though that's an incredibly whited out picture. Means that it was driven in and parked, and not driven out, by the look of it. I don't know. Only one way the track's going. Doesn't say back and forth, does it?
Objection!
And I think that's what we're going for. I admit this photograph proves something. It proves that the snowmobile was used on the night of the murder. You finally accepted the inevitable, it seems, Miles Edgeworth. However, if what the witness says is true, then why is there only one set of tracks? What do you mean? Iris left Hazakura Temple, threw the weapon into the river, and then returned. If this was the case, then naturally there should be two sets of tracks in the snow. Those from heading out to the bridge, and those from coming back. Ah, you're right! You are forgetting one thing, Miles Edgeworth. On the night of the murder, it was snowing. The tracks leading to the bridge were erased by the snowfall. This removes your precious contradiction now, doesn't it? I see. While she was at the river, the snow stopped, leaving just the return tracks in the snow. What do you have to say now, Miles Edgeworth? Is there a flaw in a theory? This idea that snowfall covered one set of tracks. There must be a contradiction. The tracks of the river were covered by snow. What a nice theory. However, Miss Von Karma, that is impossible. Would you care to explain why there is a rude index finger currently pointed in my general direction? No need. The evidence will do all of the talking for me. On the night of the murder, the killer went to and returned from Dusky Bridge. In order to dispose of the murder weapon, the outgoing tracks were erased by snow. Also claims Miss Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth, present your evidence to the contrary, eh? Evidence? The outgoing tracks were not covered by snow. Right, it's timings. So timings were right to be picked up. Timings were in the testimony, of which 11 PM was the time everything was seen. No later than that. With that said, the snow stopped at 10:50. Approximately. The weather had turned. So I think this is our thing.
Take that!
Witness, please tell us again what time it was when you witnessed the crime. Like I said, it was around 11. Of course. This means that the weapon was thrown away after that time, correct? On that note, please take a look at this data. It is the weather report for Eagle Mounting on the night of the murder. The weather report? Snow started to fall at 7 PM, but it stopped at around 10:50. Therefore, when the sister witnessed the crime at 11 PM, the snow had already stopped falling. It is impossible for any tracks made at the time to have been covered up. Ah! Yeah, got you. Again. Order! Order! Very well then. It looks like Miss Von Karma's claim has been snowed in. Mwah! It's too soon to be closing this trial due to snow. Miles Edgeworth, how pathetic of you to rely on the weather of all things. Answer me this then. When is a weather report ever correct? Ah, no. You've got it all wrong. This isn't a forecast, this is actual data. Yeah! Forecast data, all weather reports have some inaccuracies. It may have still been snowing in the vicinity well past 11 PM. It's true, we cannot be totally sure, eh? What? How did she pull that off? It had stopped snowing at Hazakura Temple when the murder took place. You need to provide conclusive evidence of this. I've come this far. There's no turning back now. Very well. I too cannot allow any doubt to remain concerning this testimony. Ha! You can't back down, can you? Such a perfectionist, Miles Edgeworth. Very well then, Mr. Edgeworth. What is your evidence that it already stopped snowing when the victim was killed? Well, we need something... Well, obviously this won't work. I was about to say we need something that shows that snow hasn't fallen. They're saying the second tracks are covered by snow, so this won't work because they'll just say this is the proof that the second tracks were covered by snow, so that's proof that it was snowing. I was looking at the snowmobile picture because simply the fact that the statement said that it's not covered in snow would mean that there hadn't been snow. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think I can present that based on the fact that it's, you know, the thing that's being debated, the second tracks. That could be shoring up a point. Could it be this? Yes. Right. We needed another picture on that night when no snow had fallen anywhere. Of which, this is your best bet. If snow had fallen, then it would have landed and settled on the dead body. Enough to, well, cover tracks anyway. We hadn't used that yet. Now we do. Ultimately, it all comes down to one point. That being whether or not it was snowing in that courtyard when the victim was stabbed. That's right, but proving that is incredibly easy. If we want to know whether it was snowing or not, this photo will tell us everything. Of course, I am referring to the photo of the crime scene. As you can see, everything is covered with snow, with just one exception. And that is the victim herself, Miss Elise Deauxnimrod. Why is there no snow on top of her? The answer is simple. It has stopped snowing when she was killed. That's why. In other words, if the killer really did go to the Eagle River to dispose of the murder weapon, then in this photograph, there should be two sets of tracks. Ah! Order! Order! Just what are you... Yeah! Just what are you suggesting, Miles Edgeworth? To be honest, I'm not entirely sure myself, but this is simply what all of the facts point to. That night, someone used the snowmobile to leave Hazakura Temple. From the tracks left, it can be understood that they were heading for Dusky Bridge. At that time, it was still snowing. Of course it was, because those tracks were erased by the snow. So then it's saying before the murder, though. Then when this person returned to Hazakura Temple, the snow had stopped. Thus, the return tracks remained. Can I say something? This all sounds a bit fishy to me. What does, sister? There is only one key for the snowmobile. Furthermore, on the night in question, we know the defendant had it. The key was found in her room after the murder, which can only mean that night Iris used the snowmobile to get to the inner temple. But Iris said that she never went there. I should probably press on this point some more when I get the chance. The snowmobile can't cross the suspension bridge, so she must have left it on the Hazakura side of the bridge and crossed on foot. That sounds right. But what's odd is, when I left Iris and returned to Hazakura Temple, I didn't see anything near Dusky Bridge. You must have failed just to see it, sister. Maybe, but when I made it back to Hazakura Temple, it was there, by the main gate. The snowmobile, I mean. I know what I saw. It was covered in snow too. But that isn't possible. Order, order! Order in the court! What does this all mean? So then what was the snowmobile used for? it wasn't taken by the defendant when she went to the inner temple. If it had been, then the witness couldn't possibly have seen it by the gate. And furthermore, it wasn't used by the killer to dispose of the murder weapon. If that was the case, there should be two sets of tracks in this photo. All we know is this. After it stopped snowing, someone used the snowmobile to return to Hazakura Temple. I never thought a simple snowmobile could cause so much trouble. I think we've learned all we can from this witness. Yes, I've nothing more to add. I've told you everything that I know. But then, that still leaves us with the same problem. If only there was someone, a witness who could testify to having seen the snowmobile. A witness, huh? Was there no one out walking perhaps near Dusky Bridge on that night? I think you'll find there was. I don't think that's likely. It was cold enough to freeze your ears off. Only an idiot would go out wandering in that. Unless they had something really important to do. I'm not sure it's really important, but maybe to them. That's a shame. Hold on. Something is coming to me. An idiot may well have gone wandering out on that subarctic night. Your Honor. Actually, there just might be one individual who may be of help to us. Really? You know of someone who might have seen the snowmobile on the night of the murder? I don't know for sure if he saw it or not. But there are two things about him that do come to mind. Which are... First, that he saw something incredible on the night of the murder. Second, that he's an idiot. And the second being? This individual that I am thinking of went wandering outside on that cold night. In other words, he is our kind of idiot. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this idiot you're talking about? I think you'll find, with a little bit of choosing, it's Laurice. Larry Butz. This guy must be a product of Jean-Luc Deladux. Jean-Luc Deladux. Yes, it's an interesting name. Guide to obnoxious French painting. This is Larry Butz, a disciple of the victim, Elise Deauxnimrod. A student? Interesting. And why was he wandering about outside on the night of the murder? That's... I could tell them all about his designs for Iris, but it may cost us his credibility as a witness before I even call him. He is, after all, an artist. He was perhaps searching for something in the snowy scenery that would move him, although I cannot guarantee that this is the reason. And so, this unfortunate, unreliable-looking man. What exactly was it that he saw? I intend to extract that from him, right here in this courtroom. Summon this youth as a witness immediately! I have no choice, do I? I believe he's in the gallery for this trial. It will not take long to summon him. Very well. Larry. You may have escaped me yesterday, but today I'm going to get everything out of you. The court will now adjourn for a 20-minute break. Miss Von Karma, please see to preparing the next witness. Understood, Your Honor. Good. Well then, court is now in recess. I'm amazed he hasn't been trying to force a conclusion to the trial anytime lately. But we're getting through, as we now bring Larry Butz to the courtroom. Which I can pronounce correctly this time rather than just court, and then gulp. Right then, are we going to speak to Larry beforehand? But to be honest, he should be prepared by, Von Karma instead. Let's see. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. I'm not really sure what to say. Iris, we only have 20 minutes. There are two things which I need to ask you before we reconvene. Alright, I'll help you any way I can. First, about that night. You really didn't go to the inner temple, correct? The last witness claims to have met and talked with you in the training hall. Either you or Sister Bikini is lying. Mr. Edgeworth, it's just as I said yesterday. Until the incident occurred, I was in my own room in Hazakura Temple. Very well. The second thing then. That night, the temple snowmobile was used in between the time Sister Bikini returned to the main hall and when she bore witness to the murder. Sometime between 10:30 and 11 PM that night. Were you the one who used the snowmobile? There was only one key for the snowmobile. The only person who could have used it was me. So it was you. But why? What made you go out to Dusky Bridge? I'm sorry, Mr. Edgeworth. Five. Iris. I can't tell you about that. Yet. Yet? Not until her safety is confirmed. Her? The safety of the Acolyte. The Acolyte? She must be talking about Maya. Iris, look me in the eye and tell me the truth. Did you kill Elise Deauxnimrod? No matter who or what may come, I could never take a life. As I thought. No psycholocks. Very well. It is my job to get to the truth. You'll discover this for yourself soon enough. I wonder if Miles Edgeworth is currently going, man, I wish I had this. I'd have known who's guilty or not straight away. Why hasn't the prosecution got this kind of thing going on? We could tell who lies or not by simply asking, did you do the murder? Yes or no? Locks? Yes. Truth? No. You know, it's so easy. They could refine their court process entirely. Court will now reconvene. Miss Von Karma, where is the witness? During the break, a man was detained for suspicious behaviour in the gallery. Suspicious behaviour? He was sketching something, very intensely. Did I ask what the witness was sketching when he was detained? He drew a terrifying woman, armed with a demonic face and a vicious whip. I can only presume that his intention was to capture you. Ah! Anyway, it's time to drag this pathetic excuse of an artist before the court. Laurice Deauxnimrod, I hope you're ready. Get in here. It would seem that whip is going to see plenty more use today. But no one will mind, weirdly enough. Ouch! Your sketch is in contempt of this court. Hey, I was just artistically rendering... Ouch! You tried to run away from the bailiff who was trying to hand you your subpoena, correct? Look, I'm nothing but a fledgling artist training out in the mountains. I'm only down here in the city because I ran out of green paint. Well, to use a technical term for the colour, viridian. Larry, this isn't an art store now, is it? I know! I graduated junior high, okay? Look, art is all about working in the fields, isn't it? Working in the fields? I presume you wanted to say field work, I hope. But that's it! Thanks, buddy! It's kind of sad that I was able to understand his mangled train wreck of a sentence. I just happened to stop in here and found a wonderful new model. So see, I've got nothing to do with this trial at all. I expect all of your faces to be red when you realise this mistake. Bright red! Or to use the technical term, Crimson Lake. No! Ouch! Ouch! Oh, ouch! Stop your pathetic babbling and testify like a man. Refrain from whipping me, Miss Von Karma. Cross-whipping is as bad as cross-checking. Hockey term, I think. Witness? That was all your fault. Testify now. Wow, this is all too much for me. Well, Larry, what did you see? We may as well get this testimony out of you. I was at that lodge out in the mountains, looking up at the stars that night. I walked to the bridge a number of times, but I didn't see a snowmobile. I didn't see anyone at the bridge that night either. The girl I was waiting for didn't show up. My teacher died on me. I'm all alone now. Aren't I edgy? I take it the last part wasn't actually in the statement. Witness, please refrain from talking directly to the lawyers during your testimony. I'm just a nobody. Nothing but a small worthless man, aren't I? And why wasn't I asked for my name and occupation or anything else? Mr. Edgeworth, this man seems to have quite a severe inferiority complex. He's recently been a cause of numerous incidents. I think he's finally realised for himself just how much of a nuisance he has been to other people. Yeah, that's right. I mind everything, every case. Watch out, okay? Just touch me will make you eternally unhappy. Well then, let us proceed with the cross-examination. With no touching, thank you. Well, the cross-examination begins with a ton of whipping as Larry Butz is on the stand. Though I think I can easily see at least one statement is wrong. Meeting no one? We were in the eyes of Phoenix Wright, you know. We know that you met people. But let's challenge him on that next time. I'll see you then for more. Bye-bye.